Good evening, Rokan. Thank you for tuning into Fried Chicken Review, where we talk about custom game products for the living card game Legend of the Five Rings, made by Fantasy Flight Games. This evening is a follow-up review for a company called Tabletop Gaming Solutions. I did a review a while back where I talked about their Honor Bid dial that was lent to me by a friend. This time around, the company themselves have gifted me all the product that you see in front of you, among a few other things, so that I can go into details about the product and the upgrades that they made, which is very interesting. They actually listened to people that bought their products, and there was a few issues that they had, among some of them that I mentioned in the video review, talking about the size so it could fit in their deck boxes, talking about the orientation of the numbers so that when you're looking at it, and a few other small little nitpicky things that they honed in on and made sure that it could be upgraded. So without further ado, I'll get right into the review itself. As you can see, all of the clans are represented, and if you check out their Etsy store, you'll notice that they actually have 9 clans. The 2 additional ones being the Mantis clan and the Spider clan are also represented, and the symbol that you see in the middle is just the Imperial symbol. So you can get all of these in different types of colors, and so it doesn't have to match the clan color, but you can customize it to your liking, which is always something that I enjoy when I talk about these reviews. It's getting the customization that you want. You'll see in front of you, I have the backing in the front of all of these dials. So this is just the backing of the Honor Bid dial. This is the very back of the Honor dial, which is a new thing that they came up with not too long ago. And this is the front of the Honor dial. So getting into things, I just wanted to show you the Honor dial first. So this is the Honor dial, and you can place all 7 clans on here. So as simple as that, you can place on the Unicorn dial, and you can swap these out, just pulling them apart like that, very easily, putting on a different one, and you can continue to swap them out as you want. And so it's really nice. So you can buy one of these. They're not too expensive. I think they're around 25 Canadian to get one face in the back, and to get every additional face, I think it was only a few dollars more. So that's it's awesome. I'm a big fan of being able to quickly swap out faces for your Honor Bid dial. So if you're playing the Crane clan here, just put that on and say, hey, yeah, I'm playing the Crane. And then when you're switching over to Dragon, you can do that easily in a few seconds there. So that's really nice. I'm going to quickly go over each image and what I think of it. Starting off with the Unicorn one. It matches the Unicorn symbol as exactly as you would expect. And I talked about this in my other review. I find that 3D print images are interesting. When you look at them from up close, I'll do the up close first. You'll notice it's a little bit rough around the edges. And when I say a little bit rough, what I mean is that some of the lines stick out. There's a few bumps. Getting even closer here, you can see that the details gets a little bit blurry the closer up that you get. And that's not the quality of the work from the design team here. It's just how the 3D printers work overall. But when you back away, even when I zoom in here, you'll notice, hey, this actually looks pretty nice further away. You can still see some flaws, but it's a 3D printer. And if you go and look into how 3D print images work, you're going to see that they're not always going to be the smoothest. But overall, if I'm holding it up over here and I change it to the number here, so in this case, hey, it's 1. You're like, yeah, I can see it. The clan symbol looks nice. One of the flaws that you'll notice is that it's a small one to me, is that the clan mon in this case is actually upside down for doing this. This is one of the issues that I would have that they could replace. Not all of them are like this, so this is an example of the Unicorn is completely upside down. But if I was to show you the Crane one here, the Crane one's an example of the best one. They're all face up. So one of the issues I talked about before was that in my other review was that the numbers were slanted in a way that not all of them would be face up. So even though this one's like this, they're all going to be face up. The Unicorn here, they're all going to be face up if it's upside down like this. In my previous review and the previous ones that they were making, this was in such a way that I was orientated that they were all different ways that they were going. The crane one worked out well. The scorpion one is good. I like the direction of this one. And I know this is odd nitpicking, but if you're looking at for which ones you want, I think the crab one works great. And something that you'll notice as I'm quickly going over all of these is that the actual placement of where the company decided to place the hole is just that they wanted to keep as much of the image it looks like. So they placed them in different areas. And I think that might be a little bit of the reasoning if I was to show you when I said that the unicorn is upside down. Well, that's because the unicorn symbol is down here. To be honest, I think that if I was to do this, I would ask that the company moves them all in either the same spot or in the spot where it's still nice and face up. So in the case of this unicorn one here, and they may have already done this, and people can reply in the comments below, it would be nice if it was up here like the scorpion, because if it was, it would turn out exactly like this. So the crane's good, the scorpion's good. The unicorn, as I mentioned, is a bit upside down. I already showed the crab. The dragon works out well. The line, unfortunately, is a bit sideways, which isn't that bad because they're all going to be a bit sideways in here. This one I still think is fine. It's only if you're concerned about the orientation. Overall, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And if I'm showing the Phoenix one is upside down as well. So for a player reviewing it, it's a upside down Phoenix. So the two that I'm concerned about is the Phoenix and the unicorn are upside down. So I think this is a slight design flaw that I would like to see get changed again. I think if they just moved the window here, it would work out well. Where the other ones work out perfectly, specifically the crane, scorpion, and dragon work out so that it's right on the top, and the lion and the crab are on the sides. It's just the placement of the unicorn and the Phoenix one that I have a little bit of issues with. The other thing I wanted to show is that the detail on here is actually quite nice. I think it works out fairly well. I'll be showing the smaller windows and the smaller version of these. As you can see here, some of the details are lost. I think it's easy to show you if I pull up the Phoenix one here and compare it. When they're going into the smaller ones, it's just a little bit harder to see some of the stuff. I still think it looks nice overall, but as you can see, like the Phoenix eye here, if I get in real close here, it's still there, but it's a little bit harder to see. So I mean, you're not going to be looking at all the fine details, but it's nitpicking things like this that you just got to get at when you're talking about flaring out your things. This overall, the Honor bit dial looks great. This one here for the Honor dial, this will go on the front, and I'll show it in a second. It's a little bit small in my opinion. Overall, I really like how quickly these all snap in. And the only one that I didn't show, and I apologize, I just thought about now, is the Imperial symbol. The Imperial symbol also works great. And again, you can get it in different colors. I'm not fond of this color myself, so I'd probably have this in a white color just to match everything else, or just a different color, which, it's a flaring out your way. So that was the Honor dial, and I just wanted to show that quickly. Getting right into this though, here's a unique dial that I think is really interesting. This is a 3-piece dial. So this is the Honor dial itself. So not the Honor bid dial, but the Honor dial. So instead of using the tokens that come with the game, so instead of using these Honor tokens for casual games, players can use this instead, and you can rotate it. So how it works is that you just take these two, place it like that, and then you have a slew of all the symbols. So you can have your Phoenix here, you can have a crane, you can have basically wherever you want. So I'll just pop this one on here. And starting the game off, most of the clans are going to be starting off at 10 or 11 Honor. So just depending on what one that you're using for your stronghold. You can set that up at the beginning of the game. And I think this is an interesting piece. There's some flaws and there's some things I really like. I like the fact that the team here came up with an idea that they want to use to represent your honor level. And it actually can be seen fairly far away. So across the table, I know on the camera here it looks a little bit harder to see, but across the table I can easily see the numbers. I think the windows work out perfectly here. My biggest complaint, though, if I'm looking at this, is I find it a little bit odd to have that you have the 10 and then you have the 1 over here. Is that 101? I think most players are going to realize it's not 101, it's 10 plus 1. But it's that doing that slight math, and it's not really math, it's just that it's hard, and I don't know the correct answer of how you would change this in a way that you can say this is 15. I think it's just that because of how you're rotating it, this is probably one of the best of all the solutions that they could come up with. It'd be great if the number down here could rotate, but because this is a 3D design that they made, you can see that this is actually just engraved on here, and that this is the second piece like I was showing earlier. So it's a cool concept. And I still like it a lot. I just think that it struggles a little bit. So the placements here, I won't go in like I did with the honor dial itself, but the placements here are a little bit rough for where they're located. So again, this is just representing 28 honor. You'll never go that high because the game only goes to 25. But I really like that you can use this for different things, and it's a cool way of tracking. My biggest thing that I find that's interesting is that I like that it'd be nice if this potentially could come in the clan symbols as well. But it's nice to have just what they use here. But what I like is that I can go ahead and place on whatever one I want. You're not going to have all these ones on, but you can be like, I want to play crab, I want to play dragon, and so forth here. So it's a really cool thing. I would like to see it get upgraded a little bit more. Again, so the star here just represents a 0, so this will represent 5 honor. It's interesting. I really like how it works out. I just think it could be use a few adjustments, and let me know in the comments what you guys think. One of the big things I didn't show you yet, moving on quickly here, is I want to show you, hey, this is my Ultra Pro box. A lot of players use boxes like this. So this holds 100 cards sleeved, and you're like, what? This video review is not for Ultra Pro. No, it's not. What I want to show here, I'll move this slightly out of the way, is that most players will use a box like this where it has a bomb container. And what's cool about this was that one of the flaws that people were mentioning before, and I don't think it's a flaw, and I mentioned that in my other video, is that it wasn't fitting in their deck boxes here. But the designer made it a little bit smaller here so that you can easily replace what you want here. And now it just fits nice and snug. It just goes in like that. If I want multiple ones in here, I can just place them all in here and they'll all go in. So I'd say about 4 or 5 will go in here, no problem whatsoever. If I to show you zoomed in, it's in there nice and snug. I think the Ultra Pro, if you're gonna buy these, it's a great way to use this. I think most players won't have this many in here. They'll have fewer, but that being said, if you're going to only place your honor bid dial, and maybe you're going to have your honor dial in there on top of that, you still have a little bit of room, actually about half of the room to still place your tokens around. Most likely what you're going to do, though, is just have your honor dial or your honor bid dial in there separately, and you can just throw your extra tokens wherever you want, like so. So I just wanted to show that real quick. Because that's a super cool thing. So just give me 1 second here. Voila, Phoenix magic and Twitch. Some more magic, look at this. Well, they don't call me Fire Chicken review channel for no reason here. All right, I was just having a little bit of silly play. What I wanted to show you is, as you can see, these are the elemental rings that come with the base game. And these are the rings that Tabletop Gaming Solutions has designed. And I think these rings, for the most part, look fantastic. I'm going to show a few of the flaws and a few of the characteristics that I really like. So just going over each one quickly here. I think that basically what they did, and I'll zoom in here. Just give me a second. Oh, sorry there. If I can get it, there we go. So that's a little bit better there. As you can see, they just did a carbon copy of what comes in the game, and I think that's perfect. The design is slightly different than here. When I say slightly different, it's just that, you know, the imaging and what they use here is slightly off from what you get, because they're trying to actually make a 3D print versus the cardboard here. But overall, it's a pretty good match for what you get in the game. So this is the water ring, obviously having both the double sides of the political and the military on the opposite side. My favorite one is actually the fire token here. The fire element, I should say. And I think this one turned out the best. This really pops out in my opinion, and I really enjoy this one here. Just looks great. The first one that I have some slight issues with is the void ring. In some of my other reviews, and you probably heard me talk about before, you'll notice that I talk about how I think it's hard to really show off the void ring without matching this symbol directly. In this case, again, it's supposed to be a carbon copy. The only issue I have is that I find this is a little bit thick versus the original model here. And yeah, if I show you the opposite here, I still can tell that this is a void ring easily. I like how it looks overall. I just wish this wasn't as thick. Again, it's nitpicky. If I go to the Earth ring, it looks fantastic on both the military and the political side. And the last one, I do have some issues with the air ring. And again, this is where I was talking about some of the details is lost when you're trying to design things in this way. I would like to have the swirls are a little bit missing in the center here, as you can see here on the political side. And it's going to be the same. Ooh, I'm dropping everything here. It's going to be the same on the military side here. So this one, it's a little bit harder to recognize that this is the air ring. It's obviously, and when you look at everyone else, you're going to be like, yeah, this is definitely the air ring. But that's just some of the details that are lost. Overall, though, when I talk about all of these here, I think these are a great upgrade, and they're not too expensive. You can check the website out to see how much they are, but they're not too expensive to pick up a set of the rings. I think the star of their tokens that they're making right now at Tabletop Gaming Solutions is definitely their honor bid dial. And even though I said there's some flaws with their honor dial, I think this thing is super cool. I really like the idea of it. And yeah, why not pick up a set? Again, neither of these are expensive. I love that you can switch out the faces quickly. It'll fit in your deck box if that's a thing for you. So check them out. Check out what they have, and let me know what you think. Are these something that you're interested in picking up? And if you like this review, check out some of my other reviews. Again, this is Fire Chicken Review. Thank you for tuning in.